Joining us now to get a bit more reaction to the second ballot results is the former Health Secretary Matt Hancock, Rishi Sunak supporter.
Yep.
What do you make of today's results?
Well, clearly this is a big vote of confidence in Rishi Sunak, a clear winner, and with over 100 colleagues backing him. There's a good reason for that, because he's proved to be the candidate with the strong, clear economic plan to get us through difficult times. And he's also the candidate who can most clearly beat Keir Starmer and protect this country from Starmer and Nicola Sturgeon ripping it up in the future. So, you know, on the big things that really matter, Rishi is ahead, and that's reflected in the results of the poll today.
You say he's ahead. He clearly is ahead, clear in the hundreds vote mark. But is he the candidate with momentum? It was Penny Mordaunt who picked up most votes today. She perhaps surprised people with her showing in the first ballot. There's been polling suggesting that she is miles ahead in terms of popularity with Conservative Party members. Is she perhaps the one who's coming up on the inside track?
Well, there have been polls of party members saying Rishi's ahead. There have been polls saying that Penny's ahead. And we've
the most recent polling shows Penny's ahead.
Well, these polls are notoriously difficult with at targeting the Tory members in terms of the polling. What matters is the debate that we'll no doubt have over the next 6 weeks, with highly likely that Rishi will get through now, and whether it's Penny or Liz or Kemi or Tom who are left in the race, we'll go out and have that big debate out in the country, and the candidates will be tested and challenged. And one of the things about Rishi is that he has been tested and challenged in possibly the most difficult circumstances that the country has faced in peacetime history. You know, I worked with him on that, sat next to him through it, and he's got the experience. So, you know, I know that he's got that time that he's spent at the forefront, right in the heat of these huge debates. So, you know, whether it's having the plan or being able to beat Keir Starmer, I think Rishi's the lead.
I mean, you obviously work closely with Rishi Sunak, but other cabinet colleagues have got a bit of a different view of it. I think Jacob Rees-Mogg describes him as a socialist chancellor.
Well, of course, Rishi brought in furlough and saved literally millions of jobs, and I think that's one of the reasons that he is ahead when it comes to the public, and one of the reasons that he's more popular than Keir Starmer, unlike all the other candidates, is because the public do recognise the extraordinary lengths he went to protect people's lives and livelihoods during the pandemic. But of course, it's about plans for the future, and Rishi's set out a credible economic plan, firstly dealing with inflation, getting growth going, which is critical, and then cutting taxes. It's a responsible, credible plan on the economy, and I think that's why the public increasingly are warming to Rishi Sunak.
Yeah, the public, but it's Conservative Party members, isn't it? Who make
but there's a long way to go in that debate.
It is a long way.
We're about 4 days in so far.
You know, it is a long way to go, but if you look at the YouGov poll, he basically loses pretty much every final runoff with his rivals. Steve Baker was there saying that whoever goes up against Rishi Sunak in the final two is going to win among Conservative Party members.
Well, if you don't support Rishi, you would say that, wouldn't you? What matters is the debate that we're going to have, no doubt, in the country. I think it's highly likely that Rishi's name will be on that ballot paper. I certainly hope it will. And
who else do you think will be on the ballot paper?
I don't know. There's 4 others, and you know,
it's a 3-horse race, really, though, right?
No, there's 4 others. It's a 5-horse race now. It was 6 this morning. So, you know, that's the purpose of this. I don't think you should rule anybody out. But what is clear is that there's a very strong vote of confidence in Rishi. Over 100 of my colleagues, in fact, plus me, 101 in total, colleagues backing Rishi. And the reason is because he's got the economic plan, and he's the one that polling consistently shows can beat Keir Starmer. And winning the next election is incredibly important for my party.
You talk a lot about Rishi Sunak's economic plan.
Yeah.
Are you concerned about the tax promises that are being thrown around by some of the other candidates and how they're going to be funded? Is this realistic economics?
Well, I think it's incredibly important that we put forward as a party a responsible, credible economic plan. People look to us, yes, of course, to get the burden of tax down, but first and foremost to make sure that the economy is strong and that we have responsible policy. You know, that is the first task of a Conservative with government. With inflation running at 10%, that is incredibly important, even more important. And we haven't had inflation at these levels for a generation. So we've got to deal with inflation. Then we can get on to cutting tax. I think that's the responsible and the right approach. And by the way, I think it's also the approach that will appeal to Conservative Party members as well as the general public.
Well, not long to find out. Matt Hancock, thank you very much for being on Sky News.